Hello, everybody. How are you? I hope you can hear me okay today. Um, I am down to one earbud because if you follow me on my social medias, something I need to do really quick. I can. It's not letting me. Something that happened the other day is last week I was on the bus and I stood up to get off the bus and a gentleman shoved me and it caused me to, gentleman, why am I calling him a gentleman? This guy shoved me out of the way and my earbud fell out and I lost it in the middle of a very crowded bus and I had to get off because it was my stop. So that was a little bit crazy, but here I am today. It is Co from Girl on the Bus Adventures. We are at Paul Cafe on Robson Street. It is the Hot Chocolate Festival, and still for another 9 days. So we are at Paul Cafe. Ooh, this one's a messy one. It's fabulous. So look at this. Paul Cafe. It is, so there was four choices. I was originally going to do the Tour de Paris, but that one was going to be $13. The most expensive one is $15, and there are two that were $10. And the drinks this year have been pricey at best. So I thought I would go with one of the $10 ones and go off routine. So I got the tiramisu affogato royal. So it is an affogato hot chocolate, which means it's tiramisu gelato with hot chocolate poured over it. Isn't that just the cutest? I'm guessing these are their holiday cups left over. But they're very, 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 very cute. And if you saw my post last night, I was like, cross your fingers for good weather. And oh my goodness, my friends, it is sun shining today. So I'm going to enjoy a little bit of my hot chocolate here and tell you about the cafe we're sitting in. It is Paul's. It's like a French patisserie, but it's like a coffee shop and a cafe together. This is new to me. Beautiful setting, which of course, as always, I will show you before we go. The front part, you come in and you can order your cappuccino, your hot chocolate, your sandwiches and stuff, and then seat yourself. But there's a little part in the back that's a little bit more elevated in ambiance, shall we say. And you have to wait to be seated in the back and then they serve you. So I think that's kind of interesting. But it's like a 2-in-1. You know what? This is so fluffy and light. Not too sweet. And it's got almost like I want to say like a bit of a smoky taste or texture to it. This one is also much smaller than the others. So Paul's has been here, I'm going to say since the pandemic. It opened since the pandemic. Maybe about 3 or 4 years ago, I believe. And it's very close to where the La Durée is on Robson Street as well. So La Durée is another Parisian spot. I've gone there for afternoon tea, and I don't I don't recommend it because the staff wasn't very nice at Lingerie. They weren't very fun to be around or pleasant. It seemed like a real chore that they had to serve us when we went for afternoon tea. So I've never ever gone back, and I don't recommend it to any of my tourists either. It's one of those things where they're like, "Oh, we've heard we should go to Lingerie," and I'm like, "No, go to Thierry or like Paul's or something else, but don't go there." But this one, their pastry cake is so good. I actually have to admit, for those of you just joining in, I'll show you the cup again. Here we go. It's an affogato hot chocolate. And I couldn't resist. They have plain cinnamon rolls here. So, you know, any of my story, I'm diabetic. I'm very careful about what I eat and put in my body. Um, so I do take precautions to enjoy the Hot Chocolate Festival. But I'm always curious when I see cinnamon buns, what they taste like when they don't stack all the icing on top. And this is just a plain cinnamon roll, kind of almost like a pinwheel. And so I had to get one. And, you know, the price wasn't bad. It was $4. It was like the size of the palm of my hand. And it was really good. It had a bit of a crunch to it, which I really like. And not over cinnamony. And again, I just love the fact that they don't put tons of icing on this. So here we are enjoying this affogato hot chocolate. Second to last trip to New Orleans, I found a place called Drip. And it's like a dessert and affogato bar. And they actually offered flights of affogato. Oh my goodness, that was like the craziest thing I've ever done, I think. This one had whipping cream on it today, but not like tons, so it wasn't overkill. And then again, I also like that it's a smaller hot chocolate. So we are going to head out for a little bit of a walk on Robson Street today because it's beautiful out there. I'm so excited for sunshine. I woke up this morning at 8 and I looked outside and I was like, oh, this is going to be a good day. And it was so nice to kind of lay there in sunshine for a change and just really enjoy my morning. I'm trying to figure out what's on the rim of this. It's sweet, but I'm not really sure what it is. They had a white hot chocolate one because there was two that were $10. I was like, I do like white hot chocolate, but I find it very, very sweet now for me. But it also had a white chocolate and coconut rim on the cup. So I was like, oh, that might be good. But then I just couldn't help getting the affogato. I mean, that's so cool, right? The music here is a bit loud. I'm not going to lie. I find it a little bit loud for me and distracting. And right now they're playing Edelweiss from Sound of Music, instrumental version. So I hope you're having a good day today. I don't know. Did you pour yourself a hot chocolate to join me today? Are you just kind of hanging out? I think that all of my tiramisu gelato has now melted. And that's okay. Because it makes for a very yummy hot chocolate. Okay, I'm going to fold this up. I'm going to grab my camera here, and we are going to head out and start walking for a little bit and go explore Robson Street. I honestly have not been, or have I? No, I have not been down here since tourism season. So in tourism season, I'm down here a lot because one of our spots when we were GSRs was hanging out at the Blue Horizon. Is that what it's called? Hotel? Oh my gosh, I can't believe I've forgotten what the hotel was called that I was at like so many times a week. Anyways, we're gonna go do a little walkabout, see what's here. There used to be a really fantastic little cafe, literally called the Little Cafe, and I went there for the hot chocolate festival a couple of years ago. We waited for like 45 minutes to get in, and then once we were inside, we waited another 45 minutes to get our hot chocolate, which was something like 1 ounce or something of ganache hot chocolate in a freshly baked croissant, and that was probably one of my top 5 favorites ever of the hot chocolate festival. But they closed. I was so sad. They were such a great little spot, and I feel bad because it was a little mom and pop independent shop. So we're gonna go out and explore. Sorry about that. And see what is on Robson Street these days. Oh my gosh, what a day it was. So I don't know where my time went this morning. I had loads of time and then I didn't have enough time. So I actually popped into an Uber to come down here and I hit the share button. And that was hilarious because the whole app was messy today. I couldn't tell if I actually had an Uber coming or not at one point. It shows up and it's this weird car. I think it's like a Subaru, but like I didn't see a door handle on the outside. Like, I'm not kidding. I'm like looking at it and I'm like, I don't know how to get in the car. So I was doing the ride share, like literal share option. And the gal had to like lean across and open the door. So I'm like, I don't know. Like, I take a bus all the time. I don't know these fancy car things. We get in and we're driving and he goes all the way past Bramble Street, which is where we should have turned, I believe, to go. So I was like, oh, okay, he's taking the Broad Street Bridge. I guess that kind of makes sense to come into downtown on Burrard. But he drives all the way to Burrard and then he turns and goes down to Broadway and then turns right onto Broadway and goes back to Granville. I was so confused. And then the girl realized she'd hit the wrong button on where to like get dropped off and like, oh, it was hilarious coming down. I was like, oh my, am I even gonna arrive on time? And then I got here on time and it was okay. The staff are nice, not overly friendly or anything. Like, I actually kind of expected a little bit better from this place. But that's okay. It's cute. I'm going to get up. I'm going to grab the camera. I'm going to actually flip this around now before I get up. And you guys can see what it looks like in here. It's nice, but it's not like, you'll be like, oh, okay, this is not like her usual kind of spot that she likes. You'll know. You'll understand when you see it. Oh, I'm not super jazzed about it. It's okay, but that's like about it. Here we go. Let me just put my backpack on. The music is kind of hilarious and stereotypical for instrumental, I guess, French ambiance. And for those of you just tuning in, here is our cute little cup from Paul. Here we go. So this is where I was sitting. And this is the cafe at the back. You know me though, I do love a good black and white floor. give you an idea of what it looks like here. And I'll show you what the pastry cake looks like over here. So this is what I had, the little cinnamon roll. Look how delicious they look. And all the goodies. And we're gonna head out.
Unfortunately, it's like they're very sensitive.
All right. Oops, there we go. See the Hotel Vancouver off in the distance there. To the right here of us, all the way down at the bottom of the street, would be BC Place. Can't see it from here, but it's down there. And then Robson Street goes all the way down to Stanley Park. So I'm just finishing up my little hot chocolate here. And you know what? I've decided that one, I mean, it wasn't super fancy, but it was just perfect. It wasn't too sweet or anything like that. It's just nice and pleasant. It's a little bit chilly here, which is why I'm wearing a scarf today. Now, Robson Street originally was one of the first streets in Vancouver. And in 1895, they actually had train tracks for like streetcars coming all the way along here. And I think it was 1895. Or the street's been around since 1895. Sorry, I might be getting that confused. And with the demographics of Vancouver, there are a lot of bubble tea and Asian type restaurants here, which is kind of funny because back in some of its former glory, it was very European here. I'm just going to toss out my cup. Juggling everything in my hands here. So Robson Street has gone through a few different transitions over its time. And like I said, the first one was actually European. There's a lot of immigrants who came here after World War II and settled into this area and opened up delis and cafes and higher end European style fashion boutiques. And then it started to go a little more kind of average commercial. Oh, look, hey, there goes one of my big boxes. A couple more months and I'll be back. This here actually used to be a Payless shoe store. And when I worked for Payless, I actually did a couple of shifts at this location. In fact, one of my most favorite stories from working at Payless, there was a little girl who came in one day. She was absolutely adorable. She was like 5 years old, roughly, I'm going to say. And she, for whatever reasons, referred to me as my lady. And she would come up to me and be like, my lady, can you help me try these shoes? My lady, can you helped me pick another pair to try. And like, just she followed me around the store, and she was absolutely just precious and adorable and hilarious. Yes, so this is the Blue Horizon Hotel. It is one of the stops on our hop on, hop off tour. And last season, I was standing outside with guests waiting for a bus to show up. And one of the guests was having a bit of a moment and started chucking things off the balcony. Yeah, off the balcony, like a kettle, a tablet, the alarm clock. So I had to like think quick and run for cover and all this crazy. Like it was just, had to go inside and tell them to call the police, explain what was going on. I had to call dispatch. I had to get them to contact the driver to tell him to meet us down the street. And I'm going to say, thank you to Lego for giving me the what to do with an active shooter drill, because I knew how to react right away. This was my little cafe that I love so much, and it's gone now. I feel so bad because it was a really nice little couple that ran the place. And here we are. I've done coffee shops and history walks from this spot right here. The Hello Kitty Cafe. My goodness, for like the first 3 or 4 months when it was open, the lineup was ridiculous to get in here. I think it's crazy that a regular coffee is the same price as a latte. So, like, obviously, what are you going to have? You're going to have a latte. But I do love, I'm not a Hello Kitty fan, but the cup was cool and it was like super cute inside and all of that. So we're going to go down here, we will cross the street, and then we will walk down the other side. The lanterns. It's getting busier with getting ready for Lunar New Year festivals and parades and things here in Vancouver, which we celebrate very big. And I think I saw something about Ramadan the other day or this morning. Lots of redevelopment going on. I was actually also noticing yesterday too, or last night. I haven't read my Google News in a while. And if you've followed me for a while, you know that like I kind of rely on Google for my news source. I'm not really a newsy kind of gal. So I get my news information in weird ways, like Google, because it opens up on the page. And I was looking for something last night, so I opened up Google, and all of a sudden there was 3 or 4 articles on brand new hotels opening up right in my neighborhood on the Broadway corridor. So I thought that was kind of crazy. So I guess because they're putting in this new Sky Train or whatever underground route all along Broadway, there's going to be better access to getting downtown quicker. So now they're putting all these hotels in the area. So there's like a Marriott and a Hilton, 2 of them for sure, Marriott and Hilton, going in my neighborhood. All the pretty lanterns here. And we're getting some grocery stores, so it's going to be pretty cool. Of course, we're a couple of, light years away from all of that happening. Very cute little shops. But it's, we certainly don't have enough hotels for all these big events we've been having recently. With FIFA coming up, and even like with Taylor, there just was not enough hotels in Vancouver. And so they're going to be changing that. And it's just going to be interesting to see how my neighborhood develops over the next 5 years. It's been a really nice little quiet neighborhood. And I'm thinking once the SkyTrain goes in, it might not be quite so quiet anymore. But that's okay. Change is good, right? So this is it used to be Shenanigans. This was a very well-known club. I think it was an Irish pub. Back on the corner where they were doing construction, there used to be a hotel in there that had a very, very well-known jazz club that was often the site of the after parties from the Vancouver International Jazz Festival. And then I once went there because they were like a dinner for dinner for my birth parents, one of their anniversaries. Now, this hotel, they have their little abode restaurant, and they do tiramisu pancakes. And I keep meaning to come in one day and have breakfast with my tourism pass discount. Now, I don't know if you can see it here. There is a building that's like white, and it looks rounded in like stacks. Is that how I say it? I don't know. Anyways, that is the Butterfly Building. So in the last few years, they've started to do some crazy different architecture instead of just your standard tall skyscrapers. And that was one of the first buildings to be designed, the Butterfly. Now, unless you see the bottom part that kind of explains more of the butterfly concept, because it looks like two big wings, glass. To me, it actually just looks like the Jetsons building from, remember the cartoon back in like 70s and 80s, the Jetsons? And they were very futuristic, and they rode around in like flying spaceship type cars. And that's kind of like the building that they lived in. Or at least that's what it reminds me of. Coming along here in this block, there was a restaurant that used to be called Penny Lane. I talked about it a few times, I think, on my Robson Street tours. And it was one of my favorite restaurants. It was a Beatles-themed restaurant. Penny Lane, of course. And they had like Beatles records stapled to the walls and ceilings, and the whole menu is Beatles themed, and it was just like really fun. I had my first drink at 19 and a half years old at that restaurant. I know, I was a little behind the times, but I did make up for it. I had a Rockaberry cooler. Those were the thing back in the 90s. And then the restaurant shut down. We used to come down here for Penny Lane, in our early 20s. We'd come down on like a Friday night to Robson Street. This is what I was talking about. This is lingerie. That I do not like. They're just not very friendly. Very beautiful shop, don't get me wrong. I love it. But I would love it more if they were actually nice human beings. Because I don't like to spend my hard-earned money on miserable experiences. I like fun and friendly. So this used to be, at one point they would close it off to vehicles, and you could walk down Robson Street in the middle of the street. Then at another point, it was like cool to come down to Robson Street and blast your music really loud in your car, roll the windows down in the summertime. This was a very well-known corner for a long time because there used to be two Starbucks right across from each other. And there was like a motorcycle club that used to hang out on the right-hand side. Now, the one that was on the right-hand side is where Aritzia is now. Aritzia, of course, is a Vancouver-based clothing company. And Miss Taylor Swift has been known to buy a few items from Aritzia here and there. So yeah, there's the Starbucks there. And then there used to be just Starbucks right here. And this Aritzia store goes, looks like they took over 3 different stores and turned them all into one little boutique. Now this building here is interesting. Ooh, I love these balloons. Oh, Ricardo's has opened a new location. So this spot here see this little big old apartment building here. This is called the Manhattan. And if you can look at it and envision back to its glory days, this was one of the very first large apartment buildings in Vancouver. So I'm guessing in its glory days, it was very nicely painted and must have been quite a sight. There is a little courtyard in behind there too as well. And I think it turned into a co-op building eventually. They were selling it or something and they were going to tear it down. And I think a group bought it and turned it into a co-op to kind of save it. So that's pretty awesome. And then right here, looking up, that is the restaurant Joe Forte's. And this is a very well-known, high-end seafood and chop house here in Vancouver, named after one of our beloved humans, Mr. Joe Forte's, who was a lifeguard in Vancouver. So it's a little bit hard to, it's a bit foggy, but here we are. It's the kind of place where, like, you don't go very often. You go mostly for a special occasion. Although I'm looking at it, it's not as bad as I thought because they actually have fish and chips for just $29. And at a normal, like, spot in Vancouver at a restaurant, that would be about $22 or $23. However, their roasted chicken breast is $40, and their potato gnocchi is $31. So anyways, and you can do family style dinner as well. And this is our Joe Forte's here. Very cool. And then down there, that next intersection is Alberni Street. And we used to have all of our designers on Robson Street, but True Vancouver, they jacked up the prices and nobody could afford it any longer. And so all the designer places moved off over onto Alberni Street, which is also full of like AMWs and restaurants like that. So you've got like the big high-end fashion stores, designers, right next to the complete opposite in food. But then one of my tourists pointed out to me that perhaps once you've bought a LV bag, all you can afford is a burger at A&W after that. I was like, fair enough. That makes sense to me. Ooh, it is noisy down here on Robson. People still like to drive up and down it and show off. I don't think that will ever change. And one of our last few remaining Red Robins is right here on the corner. I have been here many, 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 many times with my friends and coworkers. Which reminds me, I do need to go in and spend $10 at Red Robin this month so that I get my free burger on my birthday month. Herschel Supply Company, the backpacks, that is another Vancouver company. Oh, they've got a tattoo and piercing place on Robson now. That's unusual. I've never seen that before. Foot Locker, Sephora, Indigo down here. This is where I came to last year on my birthday because I went to Red Robin to get my burger, and then I got my free thing from Sephora and Kiehl's. So I was able to get a bunch of my birthday freebies right here on Robson Street, all in one spot. So that was pretty handy. There's a Capilano Suspension Bridge bus, which also stops at the Blue Horizon Hotel. We're Indigo downtown, nice little bookstore. And there's actually some of the buildings have managed to survive. They did do some redeveloping at one point. You can tell these are older buildings, some of them down in this part. Sometimes, when you look up, you see things you don't even realize have been there all along. I've never noticed that building before yet. It's so beautiful. Typical touristy gift shop here. No, I wasn't talking to you, sir. With, of course, the Canadian maple syrup. And then we'll just go to the end of the block here and end it up. So Lush over here is another one of our Canadian, or actually Vancouver specific stores, brands that started right here in Vancouver, as well as Lululemon across the street there. All right, if you're just logging on, we've been to Paul's Cafe. I will be posting pictures later of the hot chocolate I had. I had the affogato, the tiramisu affogato royale. And of course, once I've finished filming and it's downloaded, this will be available to go back and see from the very beginning on my YouTube channel. And I'm very grateful to have such beautiful weather today. It has been torrential downpours for days. Bus trying to run me over. You gotta like how close he came to me right there. Complete disrespect. I just decided after my incident on transit last week that I will no longer put up with rude people. I will complain when people shove me on transit, and I'm going to go back to reporting drivers for reckless driving because my life is important to me, and being healthy and uninjured is also very important to me. Now we're getting down to a really nice little spot here on Robson. Ever since we hosted the 2010 Olympics, This little part down here has been blocked off to traffic. Now, if you were here for my Hot Chocolate Festival tour last week, we were just around the corner at the Bellagio Cafe on the across from the Vancouver Art Gallery, which is right up here. Now at night, this little plaza looks pretty spectacular because those lights are all lit up. They change colors. Super fun. It's been so dark and so rainy. I'm not used to this beautiful sunshine. Here we go. A lot of people come down here at lunchtime, especially in the better weather. We've got food trucks. If you're looking for food trucks in Vancouver, they're often around the area of the art gallery. And you've got some live music today. Looks like my alarm is going off on my phone here. Here we go.
A month ago. So if anyone passed away, you're like, this song is for you. It's an original, you can get it on my Spotify if you like it so much. It's called different instrumentation of this.
So here we are. This is the
You'll like it.
Hotel Vancouver right there with the green copper roof.
Who else gonna pay you out? Some people will. I've had hundreds before. I did have maybe 2 times. It's really funny. But I don't do this for money, really. I do this for fabulosity. Just to be seen with this clothes.
Okay, he's an interesting person there with the microphone. All right, I'm gonna sit for a minute here. My goodness, it's just hard to see. Hard to see. I'm trying to like raise that.
In my heart.
There we go. Brightness up on my phone so I can see what I'm doing. Always a good thing to be able to see what I'm doing.
Dedicated to my mom. R.I.P. baby. We're at the end and it's hard to see it. Fighting for life, I wish I could give it. I'd do anything to smooth the transition. And when you leave, you'll always be in my heart, in my heart, in my
All right, I'm gonna actually say goodbye from here because this dude's enough for me. So if you just joined in, you can wait a little bit. Once I've ended this, you'll be able to go catch the beginning with the fabulous little tiramisu affogato royal hot chocolate that I had in this adorable cup. Thanks for tuning in, even if you're catching into the end. And again, to catch it later on today on the replay, to drop a comment saying hashtag replay. Oh, I missed my comments today. I couldn't see them. It was kind of hard. I'm ready to go see the singers.
I see you smiling.
Nice. All right, so that was Hot Chocolate Festival Tour number 3 today. Thanks for joining in. You know already, my name is Co, and I'm with Girl on a Bus Adventures, and we love showing you around Vancouver all the cool places, neighborhoods, and things to do. And if you have friends coming in to for FIFA, I'm going to be doing a whole bunch of TikTok video series on things to do in Vancouver for the FIFA fans specifically. and how to navigate the city and the do's and don'ts, all done on a fun little FIFA theme. So it's been my pleasure to host you today. I hope you've enjoyed walking around Robson Street. I am just starting to plan my spring tours now, so stay tuned. And again, always subscribe to my YouTube channel so you make sure you're notified for all the new tours coming up. And we will be doing a 4th Vancouver Hot Chocolate Festival next week. I just haven't quite decided yet which hot chocolate we're going to go try in what neighborhood. So that'll be decided over the next couple of days. Keep an eye out for that. And again, as always, thank you so much. If you could share my tours with your friends and family, especially your foodie friends and families that might like some of these series, that would be amazing. That's a great way to support a small business. And you can always drop me a little tip at buymeacoffee.com/girl on a bus. And you can actually tip in your own currency. I set that up for y'all just to make it more convenient. And I set the price at $3, which is probably a little bit lower than the price of a coffee here in Vancouver, unless you're going to Tim Hortons. So again, thank you so much for being here today. It's been a pleasure. And so glad y'all crossed your fingers for me after my request on Facebook last night and made the weather beautiful for today. So see you on the next tour. Have a magical rest of your day, and thanks for tuning in today.